Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about why you should always invest in a good travel insurance policy when you're traveling overseas. Never go overseas when you don't have a travel insurance policy.
Please, please. I think I'll start off with this one because I sort of experience this in my day-to-day job as a travel agent. As a travel agent, it's quite important that we sell travel insurance. I mean, yes, there are other factors why we would sell it, but for the main point, it is really bloody important. And especially for someone who's gone through an instance now where travel insurance has really come in handy. And if you'd like to see our last video on this, just
what to do when you lose your passport overseas, because we did go through this situation just last month when we were in South Korea. So check that video out, it'll be in the description below.
Yeah, so definitely look at that, and we explain in that video what happened and what sort of led us to make those claims, those insurance claims. So yeah, that's definitely one reason why you should have travel insurance. There's lots of different reasons though, so many different reasons, and it really all comes down to what is important to you when you're traveling. So I think it's one way to look at it is, what would you really hate to happen on your holiday, like the most? I mean, there's a lot of shitty things that could happen on your holiday, but for some people, they're more concerned about the medical side of things and being covered for that. For other people, it's more to do with maybe possessions. So for us,
it's camera gear.
Yeah, so if we lost camera gear overseas, we would be shattered. I mean, like, obviously there's worse things that can happen than that, but when it's kind of your livelihood and you use these things, like a lot of people might have a laptop that they use for work, and when that goes and you don't have travel insurance to cover that, you could be out of pocket $4,000 in buying a new one. So automatically things like that, even your phone, a lot of people find that their phone is very important, so to even have that covered is pretty important for a lot of people. There's a lot of other reasons that I can go through. Medical is actually a really big one that a lot of younger people probably don't think of as much.
Depending on where you are in the world, medical can be really expensive. So take America for example. It's one of the most expensive places in the world just to see a doctor or go to hospital. So if you break a leg or you get really sick or something and you don't have travel insurance, then you got to pay that for yourself. Travel insurance would normally cover you, maybe not the full amount, but it would cover you up to a certain amount, and then you maybe have to pay for the rest, but that's still covering you for the money that you don't already have.
Yeah, and I think it's probably good when you're going to places like America to choose maybe a policy that maybe covers you for unlimited medical cover, because it can be so expensive. I had a friend that I work with actually went to the doctors in the States, and it was like, I think she only went for minor reasons, like it might have been a flu or something, and she ended up being out of pocket like $800 or something just from going to the doctor. It might have been over $1,000 just from going to the doctor once. And luckily she had travel insurance, so it didn't really matter too much. But there's been horror stories that I've heard of, people spending $10,000 a night in hospital in America, and it's purely because you're not going to be covered and you're a foreigner over there, and that's just how much it is. Let alone if you actually had to have an operation done, that could work out to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just even hard to fathom that happening, you know, like even if it's a minor operation, that could still be worth just a lot of money that you don't have. And then not only that, I mean, if it gets really serious and you need to be airlifted out of somewhere, or you need to be airlifted back to Australia, say if you're in a third world country and they don't have first world care, that can work out to be ridiculous amounts of money. I'm not even talking hundreds of thousands of dollars anymore. It's like really expensive. So I mean, especially a lot of younger people don't think that this sort of stuff is going to happen to them, but it does. It definitely does. And as much as you don't want to think about it happening, or you don't think it's going to be a very common thing, it still does happen. And there have been instances of young people getting really sick or really hurt overseas, and luckily they might have had a travel insurance policy that has been able to cover them, but if they didn't, you know, it's a ridiculous amount of money to pay. It's just something that can actually send you financially broke if you don't have travel insurance.
There's a really great quote that I can't remember who actually said it, but it's, if you can't afford travel insurance, then you can't afford to travel. And I think we both agree that that is very true. Never
Very
leave
true.
your own country unless you have travel insurance.
Yeah.
If you think that you just, you know, save a few dollars to spend overseas because you're not going to buy travel insurance and something goes wrong, you'll end up spending 10 times or 100 times more money than you would have originally planned for. I don't really understand why people would never travel without travel insurance. I think it is one of the most important things. Like when Kelly's passport was stolen, we had to spend our own money at first, but then the travel insurance was able to pay us back, not for everything, but we did get quite a lot of money back, which helped us when we came back. So when we were overseas, we had to fork out our own money and we were out of pocket a little bit, but when we came back, we were given that money and then we were back on track with our finances again.
I mean, I think in total we were out of pocket over $3,000. It was probably more like $3,500 that we were out of pocket. So this is money that we've had to spend extra on accommodation and cancelling things, and getting
Extra
cancellation
food,
fees,
taxis,
yeah,
all those sorts of things.
It was a whole amount of money that we had to spend. So that would have been $3,500 that I didn't have to keep continuing on with my holiday, really, if I'd not had travel insurance. So I was paid out when I got home for everything. So everything that I claimed for, I pretty much got back. And I was so much more at ease after we got back and that came through. So, I mean, this is something that I experience on a daily basis. People, I think I've heard every single excuse as to why people don't want to get travel insurance. You know, whether it's, oh, I've never had it before, so I don't need it. Or the fact that, you know, I've never gotten sick on holidays, or I've just never needed it. Nothing has ever gone wrong on a trip in 20
you
years.
Get that one a lot.
Oh yeah. Another thing is, you know, expenses. Yes, it can be expensive, but I'd rather spend a couple of $100s on a policy, and then if something does go wrong, I'm not outlaying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And it worked out perfectly for me. I think I spent a couple $100s on my policy, and I ended up getting over $3,000 back from the money that I'd spent. So this is why it's really, really important to get travel insurance, because bad things do happen, unfortunately, when you go overseas sometimes. And to know that you've got that security there is a really important thing. And like I said, I've heard every excuse as to why you shouldn't get it, but there's so many reasons why you should. And people need to really focus on that sometimes, I think. We're also looking at doing a video on choosing different insurance policies. We can't really give too much advice in this because we're not essentially probably allowed to.
Yeah, we won't give recommendations on who to choose or what company, because you know we use different one to maybe what you do, but we'll talk about like what to look for, whether you want like more medical or stuff like that, so it suits your own needs for your travel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed this video. If you ever felt that you didn't need travel insurance, I hope this changed your mind. You definitely need travel insurance. Every time you step foot out of your own country, you must have travel insurance.
Yeah.
It will help you in the long run. Never stinge out on travel insurance.
Yeah, try not to think about the financials too much when it comes to travel insurance, because in the end, yeah, you might be taking a gamble essentially, and nothing might go wrong. Like I've bought travel insurance plenty of times and nothing's gone wrong on my holiday. But I tell you what, the one time I did spend a little bit more on my travel insurance and something did go wrong was probably one of the best decisions I've made ever. So yeah, just be smart when it comes to insurance, and make sure you have it.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time.
Bye.